The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 74. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burlyman Gaming on Twitch, and Turn-Based Carl. Carl, how you doing this week, man?
Good, feeling much fresher. If you saw me last week on what was the Boba Fett thing?
Yeah,
my hair was like way too long, and my face, my beard was getting real awful and scraggly. So I feel good. I feel ready.
Okay. All right. Burly, how about you, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It was last night was a little hard to stop what I was doing.
Yeah,
I had to force myself because I knew I had this morning.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's like after the morning show. I had that exact same feeling. Yeah, it's like, and we'll probably be talking about that just a little bit. Of course, we're going to be talking about Horizon Forbidden West, but obviously no spoilers. But yeah, we'll be talking about that a little bit. So we got a good show for you. We're going to be talking about graphical comparisons in games, whether or not it should be a deciding factor on you going out there and buying a game, whether it's last gen or current gen. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about Cyberpunk and the big patch, and of course the next gen versions that have come out now, and whether we feel like it's time to actually get back into Cyberpunk or not. We're going to be talking about the 25. I don't know if I should say 25, but there are a lot of open world games out there. Maybe our one or two top open world games out there and why we love them so much. That's going to be in our topic of the show. So there are many, and I'm going to list a bunch off, of course. That's why I say 25. So I'll list some of them, but our favorites, we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, our game releases for the week of February 21st through the 27th. So we're going to be doing that. But first off, this is a brief message about where you can find the podcast. And then after that, we're going to talk about the games that we've been playing this week. So here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they've been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and the post-show, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after recording. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and post-show in audio and video formats, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services. Weekly on Wednesdays for the post-show, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at TheArena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys. Carl, we'll let you start because Burly and I we have the same game, obviously. So, what have you been playing this past week, man?
Horizon Forbidden West. No, I'm kidding. That's your guys' game. I should play it, but we'll talk about that when we get to the graphical comparison.
Right.
But why I should play it. So I guess last week I wasn't on, so I played the Forbidden City. Yeah. And the previous week I played the whole game. Mm-hmm. It's not that long. Mm-hmm. It's a cool time loop thing. I know a lot of people comparing like the time loop games. So like if you want to compare it to like 12 minutes or whatnot, whatever. Mm-hmm. They're very different style of games. I think I like 12 minutes more just because I think the story was to me more intriguing. As much as like I think Forbidden City's cool. Like if it feels like you can do more in this game. That's kind of the thing. Like it's it was originally a Skyrim mod.
Yeah.
Like if you it plays like Skyrim, that type of game, right? It's first person. You might pick up some objects and you talk to people and you have dialogue choices, right? And there's like a certain sequence of events that are going to happen, and right, like in any time loop, and you can affect them and change them, and being that it's like a bigger open environment, it does feel like there's a lot you can do. But then once you start to play the game, there isn't really a lot that you can do. Mm-hmm. There's 4 endings, and to be honest, there's basically 2 endings. Like they're not really. There's like slight variations. They're not. There's like, yeah. Right. So I wouldn't really say that there's a lot of tons of replay. Mm-hmm. And the story. I mean, the writing's really good. I like it. I just think that the ending, which I enjoy the premise. I don't want to spoil anything. I just don't think it's as profound as maybe they think it was. I like the themes. I like the ideas of it, but I just don't think it's like this wild, like, it's not like you get to the reveal and you're like, I never saw that coming. It's like, sure. I could see that. It's not really that far off. Okay. Everything that was building up to it, you're like, yeah, sure. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a cool game though. It's worth the playthrough because it's not very long. I was like engrossed in the story, so I was happy to keep playing through it quickly.
Is there any combat in that game?
You get a bow and you can shoot some stuff, but I wouldn't really call it combat because it's not like it's a challenge. It's just you can shoot. There are some enemies that you can shoot, but generally that's not what it's about. Right. And then I've been playing Edge of Eternity, which was our pick of the week. Ooh. And it is okay. I enjoy it. It is very indie. Like you can. That's the unfortunate part of it is that it has this feeling of like. It feels like they're trying to get the scope of like a Final Fantasy 7, 8, 10, right? Those type of games. Mm-hmm. But they're indie. So it doesn't quite maybe get to that level. Even though like visually there are some aspects that look really good. Like your main characters, like character models are pretty good. But then faces in general aren't great. Animations on faces aren't great. Voice work's okay. Some characters are fine. Some are. Some of the line reads are not amazing, but like I think in general, like I like well enough the voice acting. I like the combat. I like the gear and like the equipping stuff. Some of the menus are a little clunky. It's this type of stuff you sort of expect in an indie. And bugs. There's bugs. I've run into a bunch of kind of significant and some minor ones. Okay. So yeah, it's. I'm enjoying it. I like the premise. I like the world. Mm-hmm. I just think that like this. I think the studio can do something even better, and this can be built upon. I want to keep playing it. I am enjoying it. I'm excited. So cool. I do want to see where it goes.
All right. Thanks, Carl. So go ahead. Start, Burly.
So
what have you been playing?
What I've been playing, I end up playing through The Wolf Among Us. Yeah. So finish that. I'm glad I picked that game up on sale. That was a lot of fun just to play through that, and it has me eagerly excited for Wolf Among Us 2.
Right.
The other game I've played, let's not pussyfoot around. It's been Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah,
and I've put about almost 4.5 hours in last night. Okay. I have had a lot of fun with this. Yeah. They have changed some things from Zero Dawn to make improvements and some new things that I've seen, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
No. Yeah, I'm about as far as you are now on it. So we're going to be talking about graphical comparisons and all, but I just don't see much difference graphically between Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West yet. Maybe the color palettes and everything are a little bit prettier, but I just don't see much that's different from it yet. And my one pet peeve right now about combat is when you hit the L1 button to bring up the weapons wheel, and then you have to use the right thumbstick to kind of move around to position it to where what type of arrows you want. Sometimes when I let go of that, it goes back to like a different type of weapon that I didn't want, so it's very touchy when it comes to the the DualSense controller. When I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn with the PS4 controller, I kind of had the same problem, I think. So
yeah, I was gonna say when I replayed Zero Dawn, I had that happen a few times. Like I haven't been switching as much, but I have had that happen to me on there. That's just a problem with the way they've set that up. You wish they would kind of change it. Yeah.
And I just want to say one more thing about Horizon Forbidden West, and and of course from Horizon Zero Dawn, obviously. I am starting to love Aloy more and more as a character in this.
Oh, yeah.
As the game is progressing now with Forbidden West, she's amazing. I love her character. She's slowly moving up the ranks as one of my favorite gaming characters of all time. Of course, Lara Croft is right up there, but for female characters, but she's nearing the top from my experience with Forbidden West so far, and how she was in Zero Dawn. So it's great so far. I'm about, like I said, about 4 or 5 hours in, about the same area you are, I think, Burly. So we'll be talking about this more as we progress through the game, definitely. But that's all I've been playing. So and that's all I will be playing. So probably this week and the next week. It's just I'm debating whether or not to just stick with main missions, or you get to an area where there's a main mission, but then like 2 or 3 side quests pop up. But then you kind of feel like you have to do those side quests to be able to get the skill points, and to level up your character to be able to progress through the story. So I'm like, I'm kind of cringing at how long this is going to take me to finish. I love playing it. I want to continue it more and more. But then again, I'm really into the story, especially the main quests. So I don't know if you feel the same way, Burly, but
I'm into the story. It's a hard balance of trying to, because I'm also streaming the game. So you want people that are there for the story a lot, and then people that want to see the side stuff. So I'm trying to do a good balance. Right. But then I also have loots where the chat can interact and kind of dictate where I go and do. So
for a game like Horizon, though, how do you feel about that?
I try to do subside as I go, but I go with like kind of the mood of what I'm feeling and the energy I'm getting at the time.
Okay.
With my chat, so that's kind of what I do.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, with that, let's get into our first story.
That's
of
it?
Course.
That's it?
Well,
How's the climbing? How's the climbing? Can I get
the climbing is quite improved. They have improved the climbing.
Yeah.
That is one thing.
And you get a grappling hook also. So
Yeah.
I was gonna
That sounds
cool. Say that they give you something else for climbing and puzzle solving. The grappling hook or the pull hook that they call it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun, and you do use it in some interesting ways.
Yeah,
but the gliding.
I mean, you
get
get.
climbing.
I have yet to get the glider. I don't have the glider yet.
That's probably later on in the game. I don't know yet, but yeah, and you do get some different types of weapons in this game too. But yeah, Carl, it's like I don't want to get too descriptive about this game right now because there's a lot of people that are, just starting the game as Burly and I have, and we don't want to get into spoiler material for anything. So
I was just wondering more about gameplay elements.
Yeah,
combat.
They have any bugs. I've seen a few online, but
I have yet to run into any bugs. Combat, they've definitely improved, especially with the spear, because I really liked using the spear the first game.
Yeah, that's
so you both have heavy attacks and light attacks with the spear.
Okay,
and you get other abilities that I've unlocked near the end of my playtime yesterday. So I'm really looking forward to what other combat options that I can do with both spear, or bow, and other weapons.
Did you guys get those like really cool, flashy, like super move, awesome animation attacks?
I have bought one with skill points at the end of my session.
Yeah.
I haven't yet to use it.
You haven't used it? Okay. I'm curious how those play in. Those look awesome. I want to see those,
Yeah, and there's, similar to Horizon Zero Dawn, like if you press the R3 button, you slow down time, and things like that during combat, especially when you're using your bow and things like that. So, like you were saying, Burly, I have not experienced any bugs yet. Well, I'll just say this: there was one area where I got trapped, not completely trapped, where I had to start over again, but it took me like a few minutes to get out of a particular area. I was boxed in somewhere. And jumping and jumping and jumping, and trying to get over something. But other than that, though, the games run very smoothly, and the PS5 is very quiet. You don't hear it very much. So
no, it's very quiet, and if you die, you literally get sent to the screen. You press X, and you're back in. Like, it's super
awesome.
Quick. It's really using that SSD. I love that.
I still have yet to die, Burly.
I
played 4 hours and I haven't died yet. I've been pretty lucky. So yeah,
you haven't been playing with chat cards of, hey, put your controller down for 10 seconds while you're in a boss fight.
Nope, not gonna do that, man. Not gonna do that. So that's Burly's area right there, man. So
question: have you guys fought like human enemies?
No,
not just
yet.
Machines right now.
Not yet.
I'm curious because that was a part in the first game where I felt it was a little weaker. Like those weren't as fun. Obviously, like the robot dinosaurs are awesome to fight, but the humans were kind of like, whatever. It wasn't really that great. So hopefully they improve that too.
But I assume later in the game we will be. So, but not yet. Okay. So with that, let's get into our, of course, our weekly news beat. So obviously Horizon Forbidden West is now out. And obviously there were some, people that were angry about the fact that PlayStation was kind of hiding, like the PS4 version and the PS5 version. Of course, the PS4 version is $60, whereas if you buy it on PS5, it's $70. So if you're like on PS5 and you're looking for the PS4 version, it's like way down, like on the list, I guess, from what people were saying. And so it was kind of like their marketing, for Horizon Forbidden West. It's kind of unfair practice to not let everybody know that, hey, there is a cheaper version out there, obviously, but that's, I think, Sony's fault in the sense that, at first they were saying you didn't get a next-gen upgrade, and now, of course, they changed that. But to be a little deceptive when it comes to the marketing for, the game, which version you want to buy. But that was another story that had come out this week. But what I want to focus on, though, in this episode is graphical comparisons. So right before the game came out, obviously, we had a PS4 comparison to PS5. And I don't know, what did you guys think of those comparisons? And let's talk about, whether graphical comparisons to cross-gen games could be a deciding factor in whether you should buy the last gen version or the next gen version. So I don't know. Carl, I'll start with you. What do you think of all this?
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic on the old systems, and I mean, I guess it's easy to say that you would expect that because the first game looked fantastic on PS4, and this game, as Expat said earlier, doesn't really look that different. It's got some improvements, I'm sure, but it's still a fantastic looking game from its core, from the predecessor. As far as the comparisons, I didn't watch a lot of them. I watched a little bit. I saw the main thing I noticed was the draw distance and sort of the fog sort of kind of hiding a lot more in the older versions. I think you should, I mean, if you have a PS5, you're going to buy the PS5. Well, you don't need to buy, you know what I mean? You're going to want to play it on PS5. You get the upgrade for free if you buy the PS4 version. Yeah. Actually, the thing about that I was curious was if you're on a PS5, can you buy the PS4 digital version for $60? Is that just I assume?
Yes, you can. Yeah. I had a buddy that did that.
Just go into the store. That's what you're saying, Expat? It's kind of hidden away.
Right. It's hidden. It's you have to scroll way down on the store's page to actually find it. So
that's really messed up.
It's much easier to find it on the app on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
But imagine you go into the PlayStation Store on your console, though. That's, I think, what we're all referring to here. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No. I know we're all referring to that. I was just giving thank the listeners. If you're having a hard time, use the phone. It's much better for that to try and find it. So I don't agree with what Sony's doing there on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been reports that Sony could get in trouble for this, for deceptive practices, and there could be lawsuits incoming as to that. People could come out and say, "Oh, well, I was duped into buying the more expensive version." But
I see. Yeah. I understand physically if you're in the store and there's a PS4 version and there's a PS5 version here, and they are different, right? The PS5 disc is going to have the PS5 data on it. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
I hope I'm correct on that. And it has the different box art, and whether that's $10 more, or not, that's debatable. But if you're looking at it from the digital aspect, and you're buying it on the PS5, and you're buying the PS4 version is there, and it's $10 cheaper, and you go to download it, and then it's going to probably tell you, hey, you can upgrade this for free. And you just download the PS5 version at that point, and you pay $10 less. That is deceptive and weird, and they probably should have just found a way to just say, look, digitally, it's $60. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
Physically, charge $7. You can charge a premium for physical at this point because there are people who just want to buy that stuff anyway. They're buying $200 collector's editions and stuff. So people will pay extra for that. And I think it's not as big of a deal. They should have just owned up to that and dropped the whole price digitally. But that's not, I think that's more an interesting issue than the graphical disparity between these two games, which just looks great. I'm assuming PS4 Pro looks really good too. And frame rate, I imagine, is just 30 though, right? I'm on the older ones.
Yeah,
even on so. Pro, 30. I'd imagine.
Yeah,
30 as compared to 60 on the PS5. So
I believe so. I don't want to be quoted on that because that I haven't looked. Yeah. But for graphically, the noticeable differences that I found between them is really big is the water. You really notice it in the water if you go between the PS4 and PS5. PS5, I know Expat will say this, agree with me on this. It looks stunning, that water. The water effects on the PS5 version of the game.
Yeah,
the PS4 version I'm interested to try because I have both. because I got the cross-buy thing.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
going to load it.
even the lakes, the areas of the water there in the lakes, like in the areas that I'm playing now, it almost looks like you're close to the Colorado River in a sense, but the lakes, look really pretty, and the rivers, the flow of the water, especially. So,
wait, there's a cross-buy thing. What does that mean?
No, like when you're buying, they do a thing. One of the bundles they say on digital is cross-buy, where it gives you that, and a bunch of digital PS4, PS5, and digital shit.
So that's more than 70.
Yeah.
So wait, you're telling me you can spend extra to get a cross-buy. So you buy the PS5 version, and they're like, oh, by the way, here's also the PS4 version. But also, if you buy the PS4 version digitally for less, you also get the PS5. So you already have cross-buy. You have both.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not a fan of how Sony did this. Was bad.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
Let's. I'm not too happy with what they've done.
Yeah.
What's the last time? From now on, you're paying $70.
Yeah. I mean, basically, Sony's pretty much said that's it. I mean, with Horizon, that's going to be it. Yeah. Obviously, they're probably pretty happy that this is going to be, in the rearview mirror for them, because right now it's just a mess of what's going on.
I'm still waiting to see if Microsoft's going to do it, because at this point they've never had to, right? They didn't. I guess. Can you buy a box copy of Flight Simulator?
But you can. But here's the real question: who buys Microsoft games?
Well, people
it's called Game Pass.
Yeah. But what I mean is like, okay, right. I think we can take that one out, because that came out a year earlier. So if they were going to charge like 70, I mean, it seems unlikely. But like, let's say Redfall and Starfield this year, which are next gen only or current gen now only, right?
Right.
Will they be 70? Who knows?
Yeah.
They haven't had to do that yet.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Microsoft holds on to that $60 price tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that would put the pressure on Sony, because their AAA games are going to be 70 now. I mean, I think Forspoken, which is coming May 24th, obviously that's a $70 game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and God of War, the next God of War is going to be 70. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's 60 on PS4 though. Right?
Forspoken is the $10 up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but God of War is going to be 60 on PS4, but I guess they're not going to do the free upgrade. I'm assuming.
I guess
we will see. We got a while before we get to God of War.
Yeah. That's probably next year, but we shall see.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about Cyberpunk. So, Carl, you played Cyberpunk, yeah? I mean, Burly and I
played the whole game.
You played the whole game, whereas Burly and I, we just played little bits of it.
As cowards.
It's called.
What's he going to play over there?
We are not cowards. We're not cowards. There are so many games that come out. Just got sidetracked.
I run a slightly popular Twitch channel. I gotta go with the content that's working and what people want to see and what.
Cyberpunk wasn't popular at the time. Come on now.
No,
Twitch.tv/Burlyman Gaming. Go check him out. So,
Cyberpunk of the stream I did, people weren't really interested.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and I was kind of like the first 4 hours I played, I was just kind of bored because I ran into small little bugs and I was like, oh wow, this is bad.
So anyway,
what were you playing on when you got it?
PS5.
PS5, okay.
Yeah. So we talked about this on the morning show, but we're going to talk about this more. So we're going to show you all, obviously, you all that are watching in video format. We're going to throw up the patch 1.5 specs, as well as the next gen performance modes list, so you can see them. But patch 1.5, it's coming to all platforms. and it's a huge 50 gigabyte update. So it adds to add many new fixes and features, and then of course the next gen version is coming out, adding ray tracing, obviously, performance mode, and then a ray tracing mode as well. Of course, the Xbox Series S version has no graphic mode selection, and is by default presented at 30 frames per second. Yeah, I mean, whereas the others, they're going to have the modes, the ray tracing, the performance mode. So do you guys think this is a game that people would want to go back to now and try to play again? What do you think? Burly, what do you think? I'll let you start with this. Is
yes.
Cyberpunk worth going back to?
I'm going to go back to it and try it, but I know a lot of people that did finish the game or got so far through and just gave up, that are going back to it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how now, because I went with, I played the game day one. So I'm wanting to see from my experience day one, how it is today, day now.
Yeah.
With this patch, see how much the improvements have, this and that, and have the PS5 version, how that runs.
I'm just interested to know how patch 1.5 will run on, say, a PS4. Is it going to have any difference whatsoever? Or is the game going to continue to crash?
The console won't go on fire.
Yeah.
No, with patch 1.5, it takes you to the PlayStation Store. It says buy a PS5.
And it says that'll be $10 extra.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, they're obviously not doing it for that game.
Yeah. So, Carl, what do you think of this? A 50 gigabyte update. I mean, it's like a whole game in itself. I mean,
well, again, that is just the next gen version, right? So it's replacing the data of the previous game. So
exactly. Yeah.
My install, I said this in the comments on the other thing. It was 63 gigabytes is the total for the game. Okay. It's not actually that huge of a game compared to some others. It's once you've even gotten this upgrade. This is on Series X.
Okay.
I started it up. I played a little bit. Visually, I'm not sure I noticed the difference because, again, it's so long ago since I played. I played it at launch. Played the whole game. Is it worth playing? For me, I would say absolutely. You should play this game. And now, if the bugs are not there, I didn't really run into that many bugs. Like, they were there. They were when I played it at launch on Series X. There wasn't anything that was like game breaking for me. There was that I thought, to me, the typical what I expect of your Skyrim, Fallout, sort of that type of open world game. I expect a certain amount of bugs. I guess the biggest thing that was it a bug or is it just like a failing of game design was like the police system, which was just completely not garbage. It wasn't. It's like it's not broken in that it's like a bug. I think it was just not fully implemented. No, I don't know why it was even in the game.
Yeah,
but like I want to play it again. I don't know if I have the time at the moment because I'm trying to play Edge of Eternity, and then I'm going to play Triangle Strategy. But if I get some time in there, I do want to get into it because I popped it in. I started and built a new character, and I love making characters. And, looking at the all the different choices for how you want to build and level your character. So I was trying to decide what I want to do. And so I didn't get to play a ton. I was just kind of messing with that more than anything. But I did. There's gameplay improvements. I know. I saw some that I'm more interested in seeing that. Like the driving, I think was a little better. I just in the beginning of the Nomads game, I played a little bit of the driving there.
Yeah,
that felt a little better. I know there's a bunch of smaller like gameplay things that I think are going to make the experience better.
Yeah.
One of the things I heard someone talking about how there's less like random items to pick up.
Okay.
Which you might think is a little weird, but when I thought about it, I'm like, there were a lot of like, I'm just picking up like nonsense items that essentially just you break down into materials. That just what it just became auto junk that you just turned into stuff you can use for crafting, and you don't really need to waste time on that. So like story-wise, I think this game is awesome. I think you should play the story because the main storyline goes in a lot of interesting places. And the side quest with Johnny Silverhand, you absolutely should play that through to the end because it's awesome.
And multiple endings too, right? I think.
Yeah, I want to get a different ending because the ending I got, I won't spoil it, was interesting. And I know like
good interesting or bad interesting.
Good interesting, very good interesting. Like I know I made a choice where I was like, I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think this is how it would have ended, but it did. And I was like, wow, okay. I want to see how that turns out if I didn't make that choice.
Yeah. Yeah, and from what they're saying about the DLC that's coming out, you're able to rent apartments in the DLC. So there's going to be several different types of apartments in different areas that you'll be able to play around with. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, DLC could make this, I think, once they drop a sizable DLC, I think this game is going to really pick up again.
Yeah.
Because if it's anything like what they did with the Witcher DLC, I mean, we should expect something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 The Witcher 3 DLC was amazing. Yeah, those two DLC packs that came out. So, all right. So, yeah, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, but we're also going to talk about No Man's Sky. Because speaking of games that have been constantly updated, so this is the 19th update that's come for No Man's Sky now. It's called Sentinel. So this is from The Verge and Jay Peters. No Man's Sky is getting its first update of the year now, dubbed Sentinel. So actually it is now out, so you can now go and grab it. And developer Hello Games is promising some big changes to combat and enemies. And Carl, this is on Game Pass still, right? I think
maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it might be.
It's still on Game Pass.
Last I checked a couple days ago, it was still on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So the Sentinel update brings an overhaul of the combat systems and game and enemies you meet to create something much more challenging and exciting. No Man's Sky is a game about exploration, obviously, but the universe has always been one filled with hazards and danger. So Sentinels police the planets you explore and have long been an element of the game that Hello Games wanted to make more interesting, deep, and fun. So there will be a lot to check out in the Sentinel update, including a new giant mech enemy, overhauled visuals for weapons, new upgrades for weapons, and even the ability to build AI robot companions. And you can get a preview, of course, from the trailer, which we're going to be showing you here in the video version of the show. But what do you guys think of this? And probably in VR mode, this would be pretty cool as well. But would you be excited to play this Sentinel update? So, Carl, what about you? What about you?
I mean, it definitely adds another element to the game. I didn't play much of it. When it came to Game Pass, I tried it out. It already had
the coward.
Well, it's not that type of game. Come on, there's no end to it.
There's no turn-based elements.
It's open world, man. It's open world.
Just go explore. Yeah. That's the thing with the game is that it is one of those games where it's open-ended what you do, and not that I like those type of games. Sometimes this is weird because it's like it already had the base building aspect added when I played it, which wasn't originally in the game. And I found it weird that it's part of the tutorial now, teaching how to do that. And I was like, this feels like a big thing, and this wasn't in the original game. I'm like, what would I have been doing? What would I have been using all my resources for? I guess just upgrading your ship and stuff, and your mining tool and those type of things. And
yeah, that's what I found really tedious about the game when it first came out. It's just mining for resources just to get your ship off of the ground. Just like, it's like where are the alien races? Where are all these other people? Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. It's like, you're going to fight now, like robots. Okay. It sounds like it's making a more complete game, but it's a game that I think you have to really be into that exploration aspect, just going to random planets and seeing what the random generation creates and cataloging and experiencing all of that,
Yeah, but I think that's a cool thing about this game now, because it's completely different from what it was when it first launched. I mean, there was so many expectations, and of course Sean Murray and everybody, they got a lot of flack at Hello Games, for the product that they put out initially. But now with all these updates, 19 and counting, and of course Sean Murray, he was interviewed recently and he said we're nowhere close to being done with this game. I mean, this game is going to be updated for years, basically. So,
State of Decay 2 is on update 29, coming soon.
There you go. Yeah.
Now their updates aren't always as big, I suppose, but they've had some big ones.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, you asked me like what games are, other games like this, like, is this something that we see? I mean, Minecraft is the example, right? Like they've constantly update that, adding new things all the time.
Yeah.
And
Fortnite.
I
mean, Fortnite's always being updated.
That's free to play. I'm thinking more your games that are you buy and then there's continued support like that. So
Burly, what about you? You gonna play this Sentinel update? You interested in it?
Yeah, I'm interested. I've always meaned to try this game. It's just a matter of too many other games and other shit I've been doing. But I'm glad to finally to see that this game is still just getting more free content.
Yeah.
Like they are not going that the Sentinel thing is a $20 package you have to buy.
Well, but they kind of have to now. I mean, they kind of bit the bullet back in the beginning.
Well, I mean,
it's
they overpromised and underdelivered when this game came out.
Yeah,
and they took a lot of flack. I gave them a little more sympathy than compared to like Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, because they're a team of like 20 people. Because I looked it up, so it's they only have so much. I can understand that, but they keep continuing just to keep improving the game and making better things and more content, which is great.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if the game, let's say, launched and it was fantastic and well received, would they have later put out paid DLC?
Yeah.
Do we know? Who knows?
Never know.
Yeah. They had a lot of pressure put on them because Sony put them front and center on stage, and obviously Sean Murray could put his foot in his mouth on what was going to be in the game, but I mean, the pressure was on. You were on the big stage. I mean,
he was on late night talk shows saying this stuff. So,
Sony has done this now with Kana and I guess Sifu to an extent. Those are the other sort of indies that they've propped up and spotlighted, and I guess those seem to hit fine. Obviously, but they're more like, you'd understand, like those are more straightforward, and whereas like No Man's Sky is this like sort of weird high concept, open-ended thing.
It was also supposed to be multiplayer when that game came out, and they never had it, because I remember three people I knew bought in the hype and said, no, Burly, you gotta buy this, and then when it came out, it was like, it doesn't have multiplayer, it doesn't have this, doesn't have that. I'm like, well,
it was funny because they were like, it's multiplayer. It is if you can find another person, and then if you do, there's like basically nothing you can do if you see another person. It's like, okay.
All right, let's get to the topic of the show. So, open world games, our most beloved, our favorite open world games. And of course, I'll read off from this one site. They gave their top 25 list of open world games.
See if any of our games come on this list.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. But anyway, I'll start. Obviously, for you video viewers, of course, I'm wearing my Assassin's Creed Odyssey hat. I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey's open world. Obviously, I'm a student of history, and I loved going around the ancient Greek world, from island to island, and of course the graphics. Speaking of graphical, fidelity in the game, Carl, I mean the ocean in that game was probably the best looking ocean I've ever seen in a video game. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's good looking
just
games.
sailing from island to island. Yeah, the game is a little tedious in itself. It's like Burly likes to use the word bloated, which it is in a way. Obviously, with all the little side quests you have to do, fetching, things for people, but just the world itself and the different locations and the areas make the game really special. I really love that about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Another one that I really love, and you guys will probably be surprised at this one, but it's a recent game. It came out a few years ago. Came out on PS4, but it's in my hometown of San Francisco and the adjacent San Francisco Bay Area, and particularly Palo Alto, where Stanford University is. Watch Dogs 2. I really loved going around San Francisco and actually driving by my own house, my old house in San Francisco, in the game. I just, I love the characters in that game, but just the open world aspect of it because I was so familiar with it. So, it's kind of different in the sense with Odyssey because it's a historical game in a sense of being in the Greek world, and being like 400 BCE, whereas, being in my hometown and being so, familiar with all the areas and the detail they put into the game and the open world aspects to it, whether you're riding a bicycle or whether you're driving a car anywhere around on the streets of San Francisco and then going across the bridges. Yeah, it was really special to play. I was really into that. So those are my two kind of favorite open world games, especially in this, the last generation or so. Yeah. So, Carl, I'll start with you. What's your favorite open world game?
Oh, Skyrim has got to be, I would say, number one. Skyrim, I mean, it's exactly what you want, I think, in an open world game of like, you just go anywhere and you're going to find something interesting. Like, just go in a direction and there's going to be some cave and there's some weird thing going on in there. You're going to find some sort of keep or something, and you're going to find some weird town, a little village, and you're going to find some quests to do there, and some weird nonsense is happening. Somebody asks you for help, and they're like, someone's missing, or I think there's vampires here, or some weird crap that's just happening in that game. Like, it's just so interesting too. You can find some really bizarre stories and things to just locate in that game. It's so awesome. I love Skyrim so much. It's just cool. You can play, like, the times that I've played through it, I feel like I just see totally different things. Because if you go, you might never go to some location, because if you try to just play the main story, of course you don't have to go to every place in the game. That's true.
Right.
But if you try to do, there's a lot of like sort of lengthier side quests that you can travel on, and they'll take you to interesting locations. And those, but again, unless you do all of them, you might miss some really interesting locations. So there's just tons of content, big world, it's all kind of a similar aesthetic, but there's so many different interesting things that you can find in there that it doesn't feel, samey or whatnot. Yeah, I love that game. It's so good.
Cool.
And then I don't know what else. It's just, I don't think I have like a particular other. I guess like Red Dead Redemption 1. When I think about it, I know 2. Like 2 is really awesome in different ways. I don't know what it was about 1 that I played so much more of that world.
Yeah.
Because I mean the hunting and all the different stuff that you can do, like to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It's so hard to remember. It's so long since I played that game. So
good old John Marston. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That game was a lot of fun. I like, Middle Earth Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor.
Okay.
As because the Nemesis system sort of added a lot to that open world. Like it doesn't.
Right.
There's not a lot going on in that open world.
Yeah.
But the difference, I guess, is that there's that layer of like, all the different orcs that could become like, heroes or not heroes, heroes on their side, the villains, they get promoted and commanders, and then you can attack like the castles and it all just felt really epic, that game. And because of that big open environment, like when you attacked, like when you did that big battle, it just felt incredible to have this big open area to do that battle in.
Cool.
Yeah, that game was good. Well, good.
Burly, what about you? Your favorite open world games?
Well, the first one is no surprise, Ghost of Tsushima, because I've played through that twice. I loved going through that whole world. I did everything in that in the main story, and I still got to go back to fully complete the Iki Island. But it was just a blast. Like it's been a long time where I've actually gone around the open world, did every side quest, got all the collectibles, and did it. And I had no problem with my 60 hours spending doing that.
Okay.
Because just pretty much everything you did rewarded you, got you other stuff that you could use in combat in different situations, which I really enjoyed. My next one is, I'm going to say Oblivion, because I never got into Skyrim, and I think it's Oblivion's fault, because I played Oblivion when that came out, and I put God knows how many hours. Because I remember as soon as you get done the first main mission, and you get out of prison, the story, as good as the story was, I kind of abandoned it for 15 to 20 hours of just doing all the side stuff, and then getting into like the fighting pits and going through the fighting pit story. And then you got the leader there. You have the different options of choice of like, do I tell him the truth or do I not? And then joining the different guilds and doing the guild stories. And then the DLC, the Shimmering Isles. I had so much fun with the Shimmering Isles. And getting that, I think it was like the Dawn Blade or whatever it was, that sword that had different effects in either the day or night. So it was just kind of cool just to swap between that and see, does this, that.
Okay.
Yeah, I never played the Shimmering Isles. That's Oblivion's awesome too. It's the same idea, right? Like once they set you free in those games, Skyrim and Oblivion, start going somewhere wherever it looks interesting. You're gonna find something cool. And there's actually, Dawnguard, the expansion in Skyrim was so good. It's a really good expansion, really good story in that. Adds more for the vampire stuff. But there's a whole vampire storyline in Oblivion that's really good.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
I like that. That was a lot. That was really cool. And of course, like not the Thieves, the Assassins Guild or something?
There's the Dark Brotherhood.
Dark Brotherhood. Yeah.
That's the Assassin's Guild. Really, you had the Thieves, the Mage Guild, and the guilds were a lot of fun. But just like I had a lot of fun, and then like Microsoft, because I had it on the 360 back in the day, when because Christmas Day I got mine for Christmas, and they had released the Maythew's Dagon DLC, where you got a small little dungeon and you got this weapon, and then they had. Every so often, like every other year, they would release some of the DLC for free, like the Wizard's Tower, which story-wise and quest line, there's not much. But the cool thing is it gave you this awesome little alchemy garden. So it really got me for a while there into the alchemy and just crafting all these potions and shit. And just trying stuff to, like, I had this good potion that I would just throw and just drink it quick, and I'd be invisible, and I could just walk into this dungeon area and not get seen. Stab.
It's the beauty of those games, so that you can like kind of custom make, potions and even in magic spells. You can like modify how a spell works and like jack up some property of it that you would never normally find to make it do something kind of ridiculous. Yeah, those games are awesome, man. That's the thing with like Fallout is not. I think Fallout's another really good like 3 and 4 open world game.
Okay.
But this is why I like, if I'm looking forward to games, Starfield. The reason I'm looking forward so much because these games are so incredible. They're just this big open world with like so many things to do. Wherever you go, you will find something interesting. Fallout has that element too. I don't want to get a discount. We're talking more about the Elder Scrolls, but it really does also.
Yeah, and the same with Horizon Forbidden West, I think, Burly, as well. I mean, what you can see and what you can find in that open world is also really special. So
I love that with Zero Dawn too. Like there's a lot of great open world games. We could I know the three of us, we could spend an hour and a half just talking about some of our favorites.
Yeah. So what I want to do real quick is just read off the list. This is from GamesRadar.com, and they gave a top 25 list of open world games. I'm just going to read them off really quickly and get your impressions. Number 25, Mad Max. I don't know if you guys ever played Mad Max, but
never played it.
It's been years since I played that.
Yeah, and apparently there's rumors that Mad Max 2 is, close to being ready to be released. 24, Terraria. I don't know if you heard of Terraria before. Yeah, but
I've seen it. I know people that got obsessed with that game.
23, Just Cause 3. Number 22, L.A. Noire. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 21, Saints Row 4.
Played it.
Yep. Number 20, we talked about this earlier, No Man's Sky. So, number 20. Hey, and the one I talked about, number 19, Watch Dogs 2. Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is on the list. Number 18, Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah. Number 17, Minecraft. Number 16,
higher.
Yeah.
Number
Minecraft
16 is fantastic as far as you don't really think of it as an open world game because it's a building creation sort of game,
Yeah. Number 16, Borderlands 2. Number 15, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain.
Oh yeah, that game is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Gameplay, man, is so good. Story, garbage, complete trash. But
I haven't played either parts of 5. I own them because PlayStation Plus gave them out.
Yeah,
but I just have yet to sit and play them.
Carl, you should become a consultant for Kojima when it comes to story writing. Yeah, there you go.
You wouldn't listen to me.
Oh, he's not going to listen to Carl.
There you go. Number 14.
Bonkers, man.
14, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. There you go.
Yeah.
Number 13, Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5.
Oh, and no one brought up The Witcher 3. That's obviously going to be on it. Fantastic open world.
Yeah. Number 12, Fallout New Vegas. There you go.
My favorite Fallout.
Number 11, Fallout 4. Number 10, here we go, the top 10, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Number 9, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay. Mm-hmm. Here you go, Burly. Number 8, Ghost of Tsushima.
There you go.
Number 7, yay, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yes. Number 6, Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 5, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Overrated.
Yeah. Have you guys played that? I have not played it more than 10 minutes.
I have 10 hours in it because I got the game day one.
I had about 5 hours into it. Yeah.
I can't get into it because just what you have to do just to get heart, because I'm a huge Zelda fan, but what you have to do to get freaking heart pieces so you can get another, just to get another heart, you got to get all these 4 orbs and train them in for heart or stamina.
Yeah.
And it's just and not to get because I want to get the Master Sword because I just don't want to have a weapon break every 2 minutes. It's I got to either do these strength puzzles or the puzzle ones, and some of them are based off motion control and tilting your Switch controllers and all that is just this is not that good of a thing. I know apparently there's a lot of glitches and stuff to exploits to do it, to finish it, to skip to make those shrines a lot easier, and that's what I'm feeling I'm going to have to do just to finish this game.
Mm. Number 4, GTA 5. GTA 5. Number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Those games.
Yeah. Number 2, Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim.
There it is. Number 1, Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
Oh, my
Witcher
God.
3. Wow.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
I know people are obsessed with Witcher 3.
I mean, Witcher 3, it's a beautiful, beautiful world they created.
Yeah.
The towns and the cities are just incredible. And there are some really amazing stories that you come across. Like, that's another thing, like, similar to Skyrim. But I guess more focused. Skyrim's more mysterious versus, like, Witcher is you come upon a town and there's, like, some kind of sort of interesting drama going on that you have to deal with, or some, like, monster that they want you to defeat that's, like, just, like, could be doing some crazy psychological thing to the people there, or just, being a nuisance in other ways. A lot of interesting stuff in that game.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, so it's time to get to our new game releases for the week of February 21st through the 27th.
Cyberpunk, man. Cyberpunk 2077. That's one of the best open world.
Not on the list.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it, but yeah, the open world aspects are hit and miss sometimes, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so for the week of February 21st through the 27th, so what's your pick of the week, Carl? Go ahead and let us know what that is.
I got to bring it up. I'm ready. Martha is Dead is my pick of the week, and as I bring this up here, I will. The reason that we all know about this game now is because of the censorship that is happening.
Oh yeah,
on the PS4 and version of this.
Yeah,
and not
which
on
is
the
interesting.
Xbox or PC version.
Which is interesting because out here in Japan, and I'm just going to say this again, Sony and PlayStation is a Japanese company. Okay, yes, they might have their American headquarters in the Bay Area, but they're still a Japanese company. Yeah, so I mean, here in Japan, games have been censored for years.
Yeah.
Like GTA has been censored, most games have been censored out here. So, I mean, this is no surprise that this game is being censored. I mean, out in the West, I mean, you could probably, be surprised in a sense that, a game like this is going to be censored, but it's a common practice, unfortunately, out here because except for Nintendo games, of course.
Yeah, so it's a first person psychological horror game with some pretty significant graphic violence in it. It comes out on February 24th on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X. It says Tuscany, 1944. As conflict intensifies between Germany and Allied forces, the body of a woman is found drowned. Her twin sister must alone deal with the acute trauma of loss, while the truth of the brutal murder is shrouded by mysterious folklore and extreme horror of war, which draws ever closer. And I don't think we know exactly what they have to change, what's being taken out, or we do know, like, publicly the company who makes it was like put out a message seemingly very angry that they're like, we have to change stuff in the PS4 version now because they're just telling us now we can't put this in. If that's how it went, I don't know if they're just kind of using this to get PR. Who knows? It's working, obviously.
But
I mean, like, psychological horror games are of an interest to me. If they're done well, they can tell an interesting story.
Right.
I think one of the aspects is, like, maybe the controlling of certain graphic moments that maybe I won't describe for some people someone has pointed out to, and I've seen one of the moments that may be something they've changed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to know, if you guys care about what graphicness is going on in this game. Have you seen it?
No, not yet. I don't know about you, Burly, but
I have not. I've seen, like, tweets about it. People were getting so pissed that this game's getting censored.
Yeah,
it's like I have yet.
Yeah, basically involves cutting off someone's face, and
so
you kind of controlling that aspect. So
right, and so, like, that just doesn't fly out here in Japan. I mean, that's too graphic for most players and most gamers. They wouldn't want that, and they wouldn't want to see their children playing something like that. So
yeah. Now, is that the only moment? I don't know. There could be more other
but
things in this game, but and if it's censorship. Like, I mean, there's other really graphic things in a lot of other games on PlayStation too. I mean, like, The Last of Us 1 and 2 have some pretty graphic moments in them.
Right.
Maybe not the same, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think you should make that distinction. Just you put a warning on it, and that's it.
Yeah, well, that's why you have like the PEGI 18, like in Europe, and the ESRB ratings on games. But I can see how kids can get around that, when it comes to purchasing games. But
I mean, they will. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, okay, Burly. What's our pick of the week? You and we have the same game this week. What are we picking, man?
Incest Simulator. I mean, Elden Ring.
Whoa. That's on PS4 only, right? Exclusive PlayStation. For some reason, they allowed that.
No, Series S exclusive. Not even Series X.
Mm-hmm. No.
Elden Ring is a fantasy action RPG adventure set within the world created by Hideki Miyazaki, creator of the influential Dark Souls video game series, and George R. Martin, author of the New York best time-selling franchise, A Song of Ice and Fire. Danger and discover lurk around every corner in From Software's largest game to date. Elden Ring's coming up Friday, February 25th to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series.
Okay, Burly, here's a Japanese lesson for you, okay? Last name, okay? So, Miyazaki. Can you say that again? Miyazaki?
Miyazaki?
Hidetaka. That's right. That's his first name. So
I'm good at butchering names. It's one of my many skills.
That's okay, man. That's all right. It's a Japanese name, of course. Family names usually come first, but in this reading, yes, Hidetaka Miyazaki. So Miyazaki-san, he's famous for the Souls, series. So it's gonna look beautiful. Obviously,
which is the first name? Which is Hidetaka. Okay, so Miyazaki is like a family name.
Family name. In Japan, they would say Miyazaki Hidetaka.
Right.
Hidetaka. Yeah. So
like Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah. But in Japan, they'd say Miyazaki Hayao.
Yeah.
Miyazaki Hayao. Yeah, because last names come first here in Japan. So so it's kind of the honorific system here. It's go by family names.
You're only as important as your family came before.
That's right. That's right. Back in Japanese history, though, I mean, until like in Ghost of Tsushima time, common people didn't have a last name. Only first names.
Yeah, they
only the aristocrats and the warrior class were able to have the nobility were able to have last names, like family names. So only until the Meiji Restoration in 1868 were common people given family names in the family registers. So,
like in Game of Thrones, where like the bastards all have just like generic last names of the area that they're from.
Right,
it's great.
Snow or desert.
There was snow, sand.
Sand. That's it. Yeah,
Rose, one of them. What was Gendry's? Gendry, forgot.
He was a Baratheon, but
he took his mother's last name, I think.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched anything Game of Thrones related in God knows how long.
So like snow for the northern regions, for like the like sand for like Dorne. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So next up, what are we going to be playing this next week? Of course, Burly and I were playing Horizon Forbidden West. Carl, what are you going to be playing this upcoming week, man?
Well, I guess there's nothing new I'm going to start. I'm going to keep playing Edge of Eternity.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to play through the whole thing. I'm enjoying it. With some of the aspects that are not great, but it's a solid effort. I appreciate what they're going for. So I want to see it through.
Cool. Yeah, Burly, I'm excited to continue on with Horizon Forbidden West and just keep plowing along and going through the story. So to see where it leads. Yeah. So excited for that.
Oh, yeah. So, same. I'm under contract by you to get it done by a certain date so we can get an extra take.
Do the extra take on it. Yeah. Yeah.
You mean you're going to continue to play a AAA, fantastic, first party game? You're gonna drudge through it, huh?
Yeah. Of course, Burly and I were gonna do an extra take on it when we finish it, but it's gonna probably be a couple of weeks before we get a chance to do that. So I want to enjoy the game, enjoy the story, and no rush. And then we can put together a great extra take episode for you all. So, and of course, our podcast announcements here. Of course, the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast morning show is aired on YouTube, Twitch, and on Twitter Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come and check us out. For Burly and I, we give the gaming news for that particular day, the breaking news. So come and join us for that. We're up to 35 episodes now, Burly. Yeah. So, going into another week coming up this Monday. So, Monday through Friday. So come and check us out. So, all right. So to end the show, our indie recording artist Spotlight. So this week's Spotlight is making their third entry onto the podcast, the Talbot Brothers. Originally from Imperial, Nebraska, and now living in Portland, Oregon, the Talbot Brothers are an alternative indie rock duo. Their music combines honest songwriting and unique harmonies with down-to-earth messages on current-day themes, defining their sound as cinematic folk rock for open highways, widescreen skies, and the limitless reach of the American heartland. Their music has garnered national press in recent years. On top of receiving raving reviews on their second album, they have also played alongside well-known musicians and performed at numerous music festivals. Throughout the 2020 pandemic, the duo experimented with developing new sounds, resulting in their latest single, Burned. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 74. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burlyman Gaming on Twitch, and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
How close to the sun can a man fly before he gets burned? I guess you know, honey, I guess I know. And I never meant to bring you down, make you cry, but I guess I did. And honey, and I don't know where